Have you ever wondered how many cameras are out there? With such a vast and fast expanding market and the increasing demand for the camera, the French inventor Joseph Niepce in 1826 using a volume encoded power plate, the substance that hardens when it's exposed to the light. While using a box camera, it took about 8-hour exposure time to produce the image. Photography was not perfected until 1836. Joseph's business partner Louis Daguerreau, he invented a wet process known as the daguerreotype. This process involved a silver-coated plate made sensitive to light. The daguerreotype camera was revolutionary for its time because it reduced the exposure time to just 30 minutes, making photography possible. In 1923, a German inventor, Oscar Bamberg, designed the first camera to use a 35mm film. In today's high-end photography, the camera Leica 1 was the compact, light, and easy to operate, and yet provide a high-end quality. In 1928, the world saw the first twin-lens reflex camera, the TLR. By adding a second focal point and size as the main lens, the user could now see a better representation of the picture before shooting the image. The camera is prone to parallax errors at close range. The first single-lens camera was released in 1933. The SLR camera allowed the user to see the picture through the same lens that the picture being taken, opposed to the TLR. Now we start with the topic, the evolution of digital cameras. The first digital photo was created in 1957. The first portable digital camera was not on the market until 1989. The first digital photo was created using a drum scanner similar to this modern version. It is used as a photo multiplier. In 2000, Sony updated the Mavic line from floppies to 3-inch CDRs. Like floppies, any computer with a CD-ROM drive could read the photos. When Apple introduced its simple and fun interface for digital photography, it made camera developers very nervous. It made point-and-shoot cameras cumbersome and limited. The digital camera had a boasted pair of 10 megapixel sensors and a 2.8-inch 3D display. The photos could be viewed in 3D using the camera's binocular parallax display. The Z340 was Polaroid's first try at going digital. It used the zinc technology to print 3x4 photos the same size as classic Polaroid photos. Canon quietly launched the first R5, which became the first prosumer. This camera gives the content creators the ability to reframe a video and even add zoom effects without sacrificing quality, as well as providing plenty of room for image stabilization. Some of the key tools used for digital and smartphone cameras are hardware, microprocessors, software, internet, apps, online communications, personal computers, digital storage, digital sensors, and electronics. Say cheese. On the left side, you can see an Insign Theater quarter-plate folding camera, and on the left side, you can see an Apple iPhone, which is commonly used by the population now. The K20 is an aerial photograph camera used during the World War II, famously from the Enola Gay's tail gunner position to photograph the nuclear mushroom cloud over Hiroshima. The camera obscura is an ancient optical device. In its most basic form, it is quite simply a dark room with a small hole in the wall. A camera obscura consists of a box, stand, or room with a small hole in one side or the top. Light from an external scene passes through the hole and strikes the surface inside, but the scene is reproduced, inverted upside down and reversed left to right, but with color and perspective preserved. We all have different views on the cameras popular in the history of photography. The daguerreotype process made it possible to capture the image seen inside the camera obscura and preserve it as an object. It was the first practical photographic process and ushered in a new age of pictorial possibility. The invention of daguerreotype by Louis Jacques Mande Daguerre is formally announced in Paris, France. A few years later, an English inventor, William Fox Talbot, revolutionized photography by utilizing a negative print, a process which is still employed by modern chemical photo developing tabloids. Calotype process allowed for the negative to be printed multiple times, opening doors to consumer market. 31 years later, in 1871, an inventor Richard Leach Maddox perfected the dry plate process, which enabled mobile photography. Towards the end of the 19th century, George Eastman released a Kodak camera. The camera consisted of a simple wooden box with a lens, a shutter, and a crank to advance the film. The camera was preloaded with a film of 100 pics and had to be sent to Kodak company for developing and reloading. Eastman chose the name Kodak because he liked the letter K, and the name was easily remembered and equally pronounced in all languages. For nearly a century, the Kodak completely owned the nostalgia market. Any memorable moment from a child's first steps to a wedding, it was branded by Kodak. In 2020, the American film giant has made headlines for its foray into pharmaceuticals, specifically to treat COVID-19. Kodak is known to be an iconic American company. Kodak could be considered as the closest to a monopoly without ever becoming one, and that was no accident. It was founded in 1888 by George Eastman. Kodak was born with only one mission: to revolutionize the world of picture taking. He wanted the camera to be ubiquitous and as easy as to use a pencil. He had adopted a business strategy that says to the consumer, "You push the button and we do the rest." The rest turned out to be an extremely aggressive business strategy. Looking at what happened in the first 40 to 50 years of the 20th century, the scale was the way to win this. There was a lot of little camera companies and a lot of photo finishing and photo companies coming up. By acquiring these companies, Kodak was able to not only dominate the camera market but the film market as well. One of the reasons it became powerful is that Eastman understood to either sell the cameras cheaply or to give them away. Because we were going to make all our money on film and photo processing, and it worked on so many levels. Everything was vertically integrated. We bought a Kodak camera where you put the film inside the camera, and then if you bought the film in to get it developed, you brought it to a Kodak store. Throughout the 20th century, Kodak couldn't do wrong. Every product launched cameras like the Brownie and the Instamatic to engineering feats in the film like Kodachrome and Ektachrome were a hit, even creeping into the pop culture. In the bellow camera, the camera is quite compact, and by moving the bellows back and forth, the photographer can compose and focus on the image. This is an example of the glass plates that photographers use in the camera. There are different plate sizes as well. There were two types of ensign glitter quarter plate folding camera, which were the golden and silver glitter folding camera. Plate cameras are very large, but the plates are concise and compact, probably because of the quarter plate and partly because of the bellows design. You can line up and see your subject through the glass screen. Once the focus is set, the wooden holder containing the plate is loaded into the camera. The photograph is taken by removing the lens cap to let light in. Exposures can take between 5 to 60 seconds. When enough time has passed, the lens cap is put back on to stop the exposure. Working under black cloth makes it easy to see the subject through the lens to focus the image. The sitter must remain completely still while the daguerreotype is made for the image result might be blurred. To improve the stability and contrast of the daguerreotype image, a solution of gold chloride is mixed and poured over the plate. The plate is heated to warm the solution and bring out the different tones in the image. A final rinse washes off any excess gold chloride, and lastly the plate is heated again to dry it. If you observe, the picture has started appearing on the plate. This is the final result. In the era of social media, it is unclear whether photography is thriving or dying. In my opinion,
Hi, I'm Lisha Gupta. Photography is my hobby and I've always been passionate about it. I usually use the Canon EOS R6 Mark II mirrorless camera, which has a lightweight body with an EVF. It works good with dim light situations as it has a faster shooting speed. Also, the lens sits closer to the sensor without a mirror in the middle, making the image quality better than the usual cameras such as the DSLR. I have taken online classes during the pandemic and I have learned to improve my photography by finding different angles, creating depth, getting my lighting right, and also learning how to edit my pictures later.
Cameras have come a long way from being something used to view a solar eclipse to gadgets which are now used to share works of art or even the most random of captured moments. From being used for scientific purposes to being used for minute by minute selfies or group pictures, the history of camera has truly seen many advancements through time and has become a part of how people today preserve memories in both digital and written form. Looking at how technology is advancing, it won't be long before more huge inventions enter the world of photography. Who knows? Maybe we'll be taking holographic pictures in the near future. Thank you for watching my documentary.